Hello.
Hello. I want to say a huge congratulations for taking gold in the 2020 MSO Speed Reading Competition. And I'm holding this little jingly medal here that you'll soon be getting. So huge
I'm really
congratulations.
excited. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for running such an awesome event. It was really fun. And reading an unpublished book is always great. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you for participating. And yeah, as a publisher, it's quite easy to source books before they come out. So that's a nice pipeline to have access to. And MSO has had a speed reading competition for quite a while, even though there are a few years where it stopped, and I brought it back because I think it is a really cool event, and I want to celebrate people
Yeah.
like you who can read and understand a book in such a short time span. I think it's amazing. In the early days, they even had, I think it was one of the new Harry Potters was
Yes, I remember they had the cursed child, and this person read it in like 10 minutes.
No. It wasn't that might be another event. I'm talking about the early Harry Potters, like one of the first 7 books. Like I'm talking about like 2000 or 98.
Wow.
I don't remember. They actually had access to like one of those. So that's before my time. But they've had some
Wow.
really amazing books in the speed reading competition before. So, but first of all, let's talk about your result. You read a book that's about to come out in November, and it's 100,000 words, and you finished it in 93 minutes. That's pretty amazing. And of course, anybody can say that they finished reading a book quickly. I mean, that's easy to do. But then we also gave you a comprehension exam, and you scored one of the highest scores, well, the highest. Someone else also tied with you, but they had a slower time, but the highest comprehension score, which was 20 correct answers out of 25 questions, which is amazing. So first of all, have you competed in any other speed reading events before?
I've never competed in other speed reading events, but I have competed in mental sports events. So I do mental sports. More specifically, I'm a mental athlete. And so in a sense, that's called memorizing decks of cards recreationally. And so I've gotten 3rd at the USA Memory Championship, which was at MIT in 2018. And I've also won the International Youth in 2018 that was hosted in Taiwan. So I've done some memory sports, and that's kind of helped a lot with speed reading because they all require speed and comprehension, just at different levels. So
well, that's amazing. I just want to recap that for a sec. So you took 3rd in the US Memory Championship, and that's amongst adults. So first
that was amongst adults.
Were
I was
adults.
the youngest person there. Yeah.
That's amazing. And for anyone who hasn't read, I'm sure you've read Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer.
The OG book. Yeah, the original one.
It is, yes, that's right. It is incredible. And back when he covered it and won the US Championship, it was quite weak. But these days, the US Memory Championship is such a hard competition, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, the last event was 2 decks of cards in 2 minutes, as well as you have to like memorize a whole bunch of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or like poems and a bunch of like biographies about people. So yeah,
it's amazing.
It's a fun event. Yeah.
Wow, that's just crazy. So what's your best time for memorizing a regular one deck of cards?
My best time is around 40 seconds. It's not like too fast, but at least it's sub 1 minute. So that's what I've been aiming for.
Absolutely amazing.
I'm much better at words and names. I'm like ranked 1st currently on Memory League, so it's like global. But that's a lot of it is because I spend a lot of time on Memory League, and I do a lot of words and names and faces. So yeah.
Incredible. So for 40 seconds for a full deck of cards is that's amazing, an amazing speed. I know that there are people that are faster, but that's just because people have really been pushing that boundary tremendously over the last decade. I think 2 decades ago, 40 seconds would have been just unbelievable. So
yeah.
It is.
Currently, the world record is 13 seconds or 12 seconds, which is kind of crazy.
It's crazy. They just go zip, kind of, right? They're just kind of, they're holding the cards, just flipped quickly and that's it, right? And they
Exactly.
use those, the cup stacking kind of like timer thing. What do you call it?
Yeah, so I used to think it was like it's really similar to this whatever you use for speed cubing. You have to like have your both hands on it, you lift it up, and you have to do it really quick, and you push down really fast. And I've had times where I like had only one hand down, and I missed the other one, and I mistimed myself. And anyways, it's a really cool thing. It's kind of fun because it gives you a sense of like a game, and you have really a lot of pressure. You have to go really fast. So yeah,
Sure.
use the same timer.
And speed cubing, for people who don't know, refers to solving a Rubik's Cube uh, quickly, basically, using the same apparatus. Um, so yeah, that's really cool. So actually, let's go back to the book for a sec. 100,000 words, 93 minutes. Did you actually kind of skim through and read everything, or is there some trick where you try and I don't know, just read the first few sentences in each paragraph and then decide if it's worth reading the rest of the paragraph, or how did you do it?
Well, I read through the whole thing. I don't skim. I just sped read. I just went through all the words really fast. And so one of the things I do is like filter out like filler words. So I just don't spend too much time focusing on, the king of the hill, right?
Yeah.
And since I've read so much, I've kind of been able to just be able to look at a paragraph and know what it's saying without having to like individually go through a bunch of words. So it means that I can look through paragraphs and pages much faster. And that means that like my reading speed would increase as well. So that's one thing that's been really helpful for me. And also I just avoid going backwards. So if I like miss something, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll keep going. Usually context gives me the answer. So yeah.
That's cool. So wow, that is very impressive. And did you train at all before this event? Did you practice speed reading, or how? Or did you how? Yeah.
I practiced a little bit. So it was kind of an excuse for me to read because the speed reading was also during one of my final exams for a summer class I was taking at a university. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna read because I have a speed reading competition. So I just read a bunch of fiction books, like like the Yiddish Policeman's Union and Scythe, just a bunch of books because I'm like, yay, I have an excuse. Yeah.
Well, it's good.
So
It's fun. It's fun to be able to have an excuse to do what you love. So, and I just want to put some context here because you mentioned taking a university class. You're saying so for everyone who's watching or listening, to be clear, like you're still in high school, and
yeah, I'm 15 and a rising sophomore. My school starts in 2 weeks.
yes. So during the summer, you took some like extra classes at a university just to kind of keep going, basically, right? To challenge yourself.
Yeah, because well, it is the quarantine. I can't do anything except
Yes, that's
do
right.
classes. Yeah, exactly.
That's true. That's true. There isn't too much one can do. So that's cool. What university classes did you take this summer?
Multivar calc and biochemistry and animal development and physiology. I really like biology, especially neuroscience. So I took a bunch of bio classes because yay, bio. Yeah.
That's really cool. So first of all, I have to say it's quite refreshing to see someone whose curiosity is so diverse and is interested in both the humanities and the sciences.
Yeah, I like both. I really like, so I've always really, really, really liked reading. Like my username everywhere for, I don't know if people know this, but is Claire Bookworm everywhere. So I've like read so much. When I was in school, I would read in class and different teachers had different feelings about it. And I also like read to the point where my mom had to tell my librarian to not let me check out too many books because then I just like blow off a bunch of stuff I was supposed to be doing and be like just reading all the time. So that was one thing that was really funny. And I just ended up eating and reading at lunch. And so I read a lot. I'm like a massive bookworm.
Amazing. So when you say a lot, actually, let's put a little bit of context. right now, obviously you're busy because you're taking these classes, but if you're, again, I don't know how busy, but how many books do you read like in a week usually?
Usually if I weren't, studying for some test or whatever, I would read. I mean, currently I'm trying to slow myself down and focus more on like harder to understand books, like philosophy or more nonfiction stuff, especially like books about genetics and biology. But normally I can read about 2 or 3 books or 2 books a week. But I try not to just like read books for the sake of reading books. Like I'm not like trying to beat some record of, oh, I read 10 books this week. Wow, big congratulations me. It's more like, oh, I read something, I liked it a lot, and that's kind of what I'm going for.
That's cool. That's great. And going back to the speed reading event, as I mentioned, you had the tied for the highest comprehension score. The one thing what was a little bit surprising though, you had a 9-minute penalty for going overtime, and
Yeah.
because we allocated 15 minutes, and you would have had or even more tremendous score if you had been able to have a lower time penalty. So yeah, well, I'm just wondering, did you really need 24 minutes to answer all 25 questions?
The funny thing was, I had a timer and I just forgot to look at it. Also, I'm a really clumsy person, and when I send emails, I always make some mistake. Either I send it to the wrong person. I'm like, I don't end with like there's a typo or something wrong, and so I've set a setting on my mail thing to wait a minute to allow me to undo the email. And I have this habit of just undoing even a perfectly sent email because I'm just scared I did something wrong. And for this event, you have to like email the answers. And I had an entire minute, which equates to 4 minutes of penalty, when I sent it to when I sent my answers in, and that meant I was just sitting there like staring at my clock. I'm like, why did I turn that off? I just completely forgot about it. That was an extra 4 minutes added as a penalty. So.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks having to wait, and obviously, yeah. But at the end of the day, you still got gold, so it didn't matter. But
Yeah.
wow, that's really. Next time you got to turn that feature off.
Next time I'm gonna turn it off. Yeah, next time I'm definitely gonna turn it off.
I mean, for all you know, yeah, it's at least a minute, and maybe maybe you could have even maybe it would have had an even bigger effect. Who knows? With an extra few seconds here and there, everything can stack up. But that is really funny. What about spelling bees? Have you tried doing anything like that?
I haven't tried. Okay, so I did a spelling bee. I did this spelling bee once when my school kind of ran a whole school-wide thing. And you know how the first level is in your classroom, and we were all like standing up, and then we were like going through, and everyone's spelling words. And the teacher asked me like some super easy word. I think it was like thorough or obscure or something. So like something super easy. And I misspelled it. And at the end, I'm just like, I misspelled it. Oops. And my teacher was like, really? That word? Come on, really? I had higher hopes. And so yeah, no, I have never done the spelling bee. I've done like the brain bee, but never spelling bee or vocabulary or whatever geography bees. I haven't done this.
Okay, that's cool. And I guess it's a very different type of thing to everything. To have the entire result hinge on like one letter. It's
exactly. I missed the U in thorough or something, and that's like, yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Life isn't usually like that. To read is if you can get the gist of something, it's okay, I think, to make mistakes. But yeah, spelling bees are like it's like a robot practically. But so you're only 15. You're about to start 10th grade. You've won memory competitions. You just won a speed reading competition, and it seems like you're just like this amazing high achiever, which is really great. Do you feel like pressure to keep proving yourself, or what drives you?
Well, so when people say they have like pressure to prove themselves, I don't really feel any pressure to prove myself to anyone. I find myself just having this habit of jumping at every single opportunity, even ones that like might not turn out as well, or just like things that are like small. I still take them really seriously, and one of the reasons that I've been able to like do a lot and been able to like not kind of burn out or whatever is just everything I do is stuff I really enjoy. Like biology is my favorite subject, no matter what people say. I have a lot of my friends are like really interested in physics, so we always have like physics sucks, biology sucks games. And I also really like so I really like reading, I really like memory, a lot of stuff I do, everything I enjoy. And so that's kind of why I've never really gotten tired of doing it. And there's always other people that do it. So it's always fun to have like a community and people you could talk to and commiserate with if you like get bored. So
yeah, definitely. It's all about having a community, and that's cool. It's great that you're doing it. It's all driven by passion. I guess if you love what you do, it isn't really work. So it kind of
yeah.
is, but well, not exactly. So that's really amazing. And obviously, you mentioned reading a lot of books, at least 2 a week. Is there any specific type of genre that you're really into, or or a specific hero?
So I really like fiction, especially science fiction. So I really like science fiction. That's just all I could say. I've read so many science fiction books. I also like comic books. So recently I've really been getting into reading comic books. So especially DC comics. I've also read Marvel, but I just like DC comics a bit more. My favorite superhero is Batman. He's like so awesome. His character development is
Sorry.
yeah, Batman. Let's go. His character development is much more interesting than I think Superman's or Wonder Woman's. And he also has like a whole family and a lot of characters to get into. And I also like reading non-Marvel DC, so like non-superhero comics. So like Saga or The Wicked and the Divine. All of those are really good comic books. And I feel like comics are a different medium because you have art involved. And so that makes it a different experience that I kind of didn't have when I was reading normal text-based books.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, Batman is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he has no powers, so it gives you an illusion. I know it's like impossible for us to actually be similar to Batman, but he has readers an illusion that, oh, we could be Batman. Well, when you're reading about Superman, it's more about like, oh, this person is I'm not obviously not going to be Superman because I'm not a Kryptonian, but it's fun reading about Superman. While for Batman, it's like you could see that partly it was due to his own like will and motivation. So
yeah, he's a master strategist, and he's pushed himself, and he's still still human. He's got no actual superpowers. He's basically incredibly fit and very smart.
Yeah, and also very rich, which recent movies have really emphasized.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, actually, who, in terms of the different Batmans, do you have a favorite Batman actor from the live action movies?
I don't really have a particular favorite Batman. I really did like Christopher Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah.
Those are the first DC movies I watched. Personally, I like actually the DC animated universe. Those movies are really good and really funny. So those are fun to watch.
It's cool. I haven't seen those. I need to check that out. As we mentioned before, you're only 15. You're starting 10th grade, but you're already doing a lot, and I'm very curious about the world. Do you have any idea of what you'd like to do when you grow up?
So I've been asked this question a lot, and it's changed a lot. I used to want to be an astronaut, like everyone in the world, and then environmentalist. Currently, I'm really interested in neuroscience, especially computational neuroscience, because I've been learning computer science and coding for a while. I really, really enjoy learning about neuroscience because there's so many things we don't know about our own brains and about brains of other animals and species. So I intern at this UCLA STEM Institute lab, and it's really fun to be able to actually work in real research. And since the lab does like human patient research too, it's even cooler because it's not just on mice. You like actually hear about like the patients and people that you do research on. And that's always really inspiring and really makes me interested in neuroscience. So maybe neuroscience would be something I might want to major in.
That's cool. Is this the lab that works with epileptic patients, and by treating them, they get to put these electrodes, and you can
Yeah,
actually
so they
see.
have like electrodes in your brain that help prevent epileptic or help like mitigate seizures, but it's also helps researchers because like there's like some brainwave data and stuff that we could collect if we work with the patients on like experiments and studies.
It's really cool. Yeah, I've got some friends who've worked at that lab that UCLA is quite renowned for.
That's cool.
And it's amazing, that you're interested in neuroscience, biology, reading. What about writing a book? Do you think maybe you'll write a book one day?
Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like writing. I've liked writing a lot of random fiction stuff, tiny snippets, but I haven't written too much. I really like poetry. I've written like 3 poems and 3 good poems, in my opinion. And I guess maybe writing would be interesting. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll become an author, but I don't know yet.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe I might write like some super cool science fiction universe world building stuff. I like world building, so that might be cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, I bet you'd be great at it. So how did you hear about the Mind Sports Olympiad's speed reading competition?
So I've heard about MSO before because it's pretty well known, and I heard that this year, cause I was expecting like literally everything to be canceled because of coronavirus. So I was looking through this forum, a memory forum on Art of Memory, and someone brought up MSO, and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I looked through and like, I've never heard of these board games. Like, what's Othello? I've only read the Shakespeare play, and I didn't really like the Shakespeare play, in my opinion. I don't like Othello. Anyways, I was like, what are these board games? And I'm like, oh, there's speed reading. Okay, that's something I could do. And I signed up and I won gold. So that was really fun. I've heard of, so MSO is pretty well known. So I was just surprised that they were still doing it. You were still doing it this year. And it actually went really well. Like the whole online thing, I don't think really changed too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, I'm delighted that I was able to keep MSO going during this odd year, and it's awesome that we've had people from all over the world, including you from LA, and the event itself for speed reading was very similar. The one big difference is when we have the speed reading competition in London, when you finish the book, we take away the book, so you only have the questions, and you don't have access to the book when you're answering the questions. And we usually give you more time. So in this case, we knew people would be able to keep reading the book and also Control F and try and find keywords and things like that.
Yeah.
So we tried to think of questions that weren't that.
Yeah, the questions didn't use the exact words from the book. I could tell because like a lot of the questions are kind of worded a little bit weirdly. Yeah. But I mean that was kind of fun too, kind of trying to. But I was able to remember a lot of the book without having to check because I was like I just remembered a lot of it. So
amazing. Well, hey, that memory practice obviously came in handy. So
yeah,
it's so cool. Great. Well, hey, once again, huge congratulations, and I hope to see you compete again in the future. And
yeah, hopefully it'll be in person next time. So that'll be even cooler. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Absolutely. And and defend your gold medal.
I will. I'll try. Yeah. I'll get even faster at speed reading. I'll be like even a speedy reader. Yeah.
I bet you will.
Reader.
Amazing. Cool. Well, hey, Claire, congratulations, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for running such an awesome event. It was really fun. It was a really good book too.
Oh, thanks.
I'm really excited for it to come out. Yeah.
That's cool. Christopher Hinz, he'll be delighted to hear that. He's a great guy, and really happy to have been able to use his book. So thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.